blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to edit that out. I'm imperfect. Get my hand in the way and I'm stumbling over my own name. Secondhand Dan coming to you from Homosassa, Florida land. It's the cool of the evening here. It's about 7 o'clock. No, it's not that late. The sun's just starting to go down. Here, let me take a look at these skies. It's actually, I think, 6:30, but we've gone from 82 degrees, and it feels about 60 right now. There's a slight breeze, but it's beautiful. Can hear the crickets trilling. Is that what they do? Well, I'm looking at starting a fire here. Now you can see I have a burn pile right there, and there's a gas can nearby. I'm not going to do anything stupid. Yes, I pour gas on the fire I'm about to ignite, but I'll ignite something and throw it onto the pile of wood that I'm going to ignite. I've seen too many videos where people, they'll douse the wood with gas and then they'll stand there and light right up close with their lighter and woof. So let me sit you up in the tripod. Yeah, we get a little breezy here sometimes. You can see the tripod blew over. At least my phone wasn't in it like the one time it was in it and it fell over and bent the receiver for my microphone. This is close enough. It's just got a phone mount, standard camera tripod. You see them at the yard sales all the time, you know, for like $5. Sometimes at the auction, they're practically giving them away. They throw them in a pile of other stuff they're trying to sell off. All right, you go right in here. Now I'm gonna reverse. There we go. And you're looking at the wood pile. Let me get something that I'm going to, like I said, ignite and throw on the gas pile, even before I dump a little gasoline onto the wood pile. So I enter into my workshop. Oh, I know, there's a cardboard box. Yeah, there it is. I'm probably coming into view about now. Ooh. So I'll put a little gasoline on this, throw this onto the burn pile. But let's get the wheelbarrow out of there. This isn't going to last very long. This is all sticks, no logs. I appreciate you folks tuning in. I know I had the burning wood pile from the wood I had picked up at the church I was helping. And I was surprised. I didn't think anybody would be interested in watching that. Not that I got thousands of views, but you know, a couple of hundred, and I was only expecting a handful, so. All right. A little Dalsaruni. I got it set on P. Let's open up the lid here. It's also important, make sure you don't get a drop on yourself, on your pants, your shoe, or okay. I'll soak the end of this cardboard. That you can afford to be a little bit close to. Now put the gas can back here behind everything. Reach into my pocket and pull out the lighter. Lighter. There it is in my back pocket. All right. Contact. Okay, like I said, now I can throw this onto the pile. Any moment now, fire pit. There it goes. Where's my grass rake? It's good to keep that unit handy in case the fire down here, like I said, the Florida ground is very dry. Very like dry mulch and leaves and needles. So fire, if you don't keep your fire pit groomed, will want to creep across the lawn. Especially if there's any breeze, but it feels like we're without breeze. I usually will, monitor the tops of the trees, and if I don't see them moving hardly at all, I figure it's we're good to go. Snap, crackle, pop. I don't know if you can hear that. There's some gunshot in the distance. Here in Florida, there's no problem with taking your firearm and practicing some target practice. There's a slight breeze right now. It comes and it goes. I prefer it would just go and not come, but nothing crazy. But you gotta watch hot embers. I guess it's never 100% devil-may-care. You got to consider that fire. It can get pretty hungry if you don't keep it in check. Oh, my night light, so to speak, just came on. I've got this, looks kind of like a street light that I installed last year just before we left to go back to Pittsburgh for security. And they actually, the power company, when we first hooked up, said, we have a deal for you. They said, if you pay us, I don't know, I forget what the figure was, whether it was $18, $20 a month, we'll energize this street light every night. And I decided that was too expensive. My own that's an LED, and theirs is probably just a regular tungsten filament bulb. So it probably takes, 10 times what I have in this one here. That one there is shaped like a bit like a corn cob, like a one-sided corn cob with little square LEDs. And it takes the extra large light socket. It looks like a regular light bulb on the end, but it's like double the size. But that's working out pretty well. Also have a set here. They'll come on at dusk if I throw the switch on inside the house. But this one over here has been doing pretty good without the assistance of the one here by my door. But, it's good to have if I'm doing something here in the way of working in the yard or something. I could add that one on. And probably will go ahead and leave it on for security, even more intense light. That is a nice fire, though. So like right now there's no breeze whatsoever. You can see how the flames are largely going straight up. That's basically sticks and brush we've collected from the acre lot next door. I was over there mowing yesterday with the red riding tractor. Bought this thing what, like 2 weeks ago, and I'm already looking to sell it off. I mean, it's adequate, but I found another one. I paid like $260 for this, and it's a little raggedy around the edges. The paint's faded. The seat keeps getting my butt wet because that's not the original seat cover. I don't even think that's a seat cover, but a homemade seat cover, which is a piece of vinyl, and it always bleeds water right through it. But, you know, it works. But I'm replacing it with basically the same thing. And the funny thing is, I think it's actually an older tractor, but it looks like it has a fraction of the use on it. Paint looks good. Seat looks good. It's the same horsepower. This is a, I think it's called an LT 2000. The other one's a LT 3000. And there's really no, I think this one actually has like more horsepower, maybe one more horse than the red one. I haven't even tried that. Well, I've only heard it run once because the battery's dead. And I haven't bought the replacement. I was kind of figuring I was going to sell the red one before I went out and bought the replacement battery. But I heard it run before I bought it. I was hoping it would just take a good charge, but I charged it. I don't know if my charger's not that great, but it didn't do anything after the charge. But you can see the seat looks really nice. There seems to be less play in the steering. The other one, you're like, the other one goes much further before it seems to start to turn the wheels. And these tires are actually holding air. I think on the red one, it's not holding air. But the saving grace is that the tires are on the red one seem to be holding their form even with basically almost no air in them. And I was cutting the acre of ground over there, and it kicks up a lot of dust. It's all like, it's cutting tumbleweeds. So it was dusty, sandy, and after about 45 minutes of cutting the grass over there, the red mower started to stall. And I'm pretty sure it was just the air filter had gotten too dirty. So I managed to get it back over here, and I've since blown out the air filter, and it seems to be running fairly regular again. I've put it on the marketplace, and people are inquiring. I've probably had about 10 inquiries. So, letting it go. It's time to pull up a chair and sit down. Oh, those are Chase lounges. I don't think I really want to Chase lounge it. Let's go get a chair. Had a fire over here last week, and I was telling you about trying to keep things in check. Well, the wind kicked up, and that thing started running amok across the lawn. Well, I use the term lawn loosely, but it was the fire was right here. Well, it started making its way Just like if you ever seen the television Ponderosa, the map burns up in the opening credits. It was like that, starting to go in every direction. And I'm running around with a shovel trying to beat it out. It wasn't until we got the rake and was actually able to pull back, and that would suffocate the advancing fire as you pulled back with the rake. I mean, we were actually on the 911 getting ready to call the fire department, but we canceled as soon as we got through. It was crazy. It was, it actually went through the fence and was over on the other side. And it scorched my little palm bush. I thought, you know, when I was cutting the grass before I lit that fire, I thought, I think I'll let that palm bush, I think it's called a saw palmetto. I said, I think I'll let that one stay. And here it is, it goes and gets scorched by the fire. It probably will survive. There's still a lot of green in it. I don't know if you can see from here what, believe me, it's scorched. I mean, this is incredible. I'm shooting this video at night just by the light that's being thrown off my street light. You can see the neighbor has the power company sanctioned street light. So I'm gonna have to grab a hold of him, because I forget what they actually charge. It's a monthly flat fee for that. So it's not even connected up to your meter. But mine is connected to my meter. And I'm 100% positive I'm probably paying way less than half than what it would cost to run those yellow lights there. So like the house across the way, it doesn't have that option right now. You can see I've got a pole right in my yard. But that was probably just part of setting up power for the house. They didn't set the pole up just for the sake of putting a street light on it, but there is the pole over there where my power comes from. And that's actually on my other property. But I don't know if these people said to the power company, hey, we want one of those street lights, would they come out and sink another pole? Because, well, I hope they really don't. There's enough light pollution between what I have going and the neighbor has going. Now, the people down the street, I think they're paying for that one through the power company, but I think it's just been updated with probably an LED. Here's my 1963 Honda Bentley. I tried it on eBay. You might want to check out my Bentley YouTube video. It's gotten almost 1,000 views. For me, that's a heck of a lot of views. But I had it on YouTube. I mean, I do have it on YouTube, but I had it on eBay for a week. A lot of watchers, but nobody pulled the trigger and bought it, because I didn't even get anybody messaging me with any kind of offer on it. But I'm going to break it down into parts and start selling the parts. After I bought this thing, it had a badge on the tank when I was the high bidder on it. And when I got it home and I'm making a video, I'm like, something don't seem right. Somebody stole one of the badges before I got it loaded up. It only had one on it, and it was this one. And they took it. Lousy thing to do. I want to call them a bunch of names, but right now I can't even roll this thing around. I think I'll get my cutter and cut the chain. Get the chain off, because the chain isn't resellable. Chain is chain, you know. Probably hasn't changed in the last 60, 70 years. Sure, there might be 2, 3 different sizes at the most, but motorcycle chain is not resellable. Maybe if you were back in the day when I was a kid, you know, you'd be eager to find a used chain because you didn't have any money to put on your dirt bike or your mini bike. So we're going to port it out. I think the gas tank should be an easy sell. And I think the fender should be a seller. And then maybe, I don't know, maybe there's aluminum pieces behind the shocks there that say Honda on them. Maybe the shocks are sell. Shocks can be rebuilt. You know, maybe somebody will pay something for the whole engine. But I'm pretty much sure to get my money back. Oh yeah, the headlight assembly with the speedometer in it. The handlebars. I don't think anybody would be interested in them, but you know, I've said things like that before, and I was surprised that people are, because maybe that's the only year they had that size in that particular bend, and so they might be hard to come by. The seat. Yes, it'll need reupholstered, but a lot of people may not have a seat to reupholster and will want this. Oh yeah, the taillight assembly. I should be able to sell that, and the back fender. So I got to do something. I mean, I wouldn't exactly call this thing yard art. So I know it's probably the wife isn't too happy with me with the few things I have out here. But I'm like, when in Florida, do as the Floridians do. I mean, I'm barely scratching the surface compared to a lot of the properties I drive by. But I brought this table saw in not even a week ago. So I've worked on that, tested it, and I'm going to post it any day now. So I'm going to make a couple of bucks there. All right, well, the fire's dying down. I think I need to stir it up. I'll pull the outside edges onto the top, or you'll see. Watch. Ugh. Love this rake. It's not your ordinary grass rake. It's all metal, and it's even adjustable. I know it's hard to see at night here, but the small, and it gets larger. And what's nice too is, you know, unlike some of the plastic ones, you couldn't stick a plastic one without it getting burnt in the fire. So this works good in the fire pit. There's several more wheelbarrows full that need to be picked up and brought over, but that's for another day. Let me get that chair. It is so nice out here. It's one of those nights where you almost wish you were literally camping, listening to the crickets. Actually woke up, I heard some coyotes. They were yipping a little bit, They weren't getting into too heavy, but I've only seen one coyote since I've been here. I've seen wild boar, pig run through my lot last year. I think it must have been a sow with like 2 or 3 piglets following behind it. They say there's deer down here. I have yet to actually see the deer. But I've been told that they're smaller than the deer that we have in Pennsylvania. Probably because the educated guess here that what they have to eat here isn't as lush as the forests of Pennsylvania. I mean, there's a lot of green stuff down here, but it's usually like it's piney stuff, you know, pine trees and other things that stay green all year long. And I'm pretty sure deer like to eat the stuff like weeds and other bushes. I don't think, not too many animals are into eating pine trees. Whoa. Does this chair leg just dig in, or is it folding up? I think it's just digging in. Sitting on sand here. I've dug down. I'm not sure how far you have to dig before you hit any kind of bedrock, but I sunk a fence post last year, a 6x6, where my 2 fences meet in a corner. There was, I think, a 4x4 there, but the people live across the way, some younger kids, you know, roommates, were into some stuff they shouldn't have been into, but attitudes that just aren't right. But I'm pretty sure one of them backed in, and I'm sure it was already somewhat rotted, but they ruined the fence post over there. But I had to get the fence post hole digger. I needed to take the fence down anyway to bring in the shed, but when I reconstructed the fence, I got a 6x6 for a fence post, corner post. The rest of the fence posts are all steel. Yeah, occasionally there's a 4x4 for some reason, but my my fence post is like I think I used a full 10-footer, and I probably got about 5 feet of it. No, maybe about 4 feet of it into that deep of a hole. And I was still, seemed like I was dealing basically with sand. So I put it in, and I got a 5-gallon bucket, set that down in the hole, and I put the fence post in that 5-gallon bucket and filled that bucket up with dry concrete. No, yeah, I wet it first, yeah. I've heard you can put it dry and add the water up, but no, I mixed it up and dumped it in that bucket. Then after it hardened, I got another 5-gallon bucket, and I cut the bottom out of it and put it up over top, down, and set it on top of the concrete that I had done previously. So, and added in more concrete. So I've got the equivalent of 2 5-gallon buckets of concrete holding that post up. And then, of course, I backfilled it with the few rocks that I could find and sand. Sand is abundant. So it's pretty stout looking. There's always a project to do here. I really would like to get some gravel in here. That's just it. There's so many choices in gravel. You can go with, well, you don't want to go with sand. It's already sand, but I hear tell you can get millings. That's what basically is pavement that, you know, when they go and redo a highway, the street eater comes out and just grinds a layer off the highway and puts it in their dump trucks. You can use that stuff. We also have, I guess, limestone or sandstone, lime rock, I think they call it. Some of that stuff crushed up. But that stuff's kind of ugly looking, but And I don't know if they're consistent in the size. Of course, you can get the true blue, the limestone, real limestone. That's going to be costly. I think I've heard that maybe it's depending on the location where you can actually get seashell, crushed seashell dumped. So it's something that I should take care of. The first year we moved in here, I had to clean out a storage locker in Tampa. And Tampa's an hour south of us. So we rented a U-Haul, went down to Tampa, emptied the two storage lockers out, I think it was, and brought it back up here and brought the U-Haul. I didn't want to do it, but the wife and I think one of the guys we had hired to work with us said, "Oh, you'll be okay. You can drive back there." Yeah, I drove back with no problem. The problem was when I went to pull out, the rear tires just started spinning and dug a hole. So they dug a hole. They almost got down to the pumpkin. I did everything. I tried to just creep out real lightly. I was tempted to de-air the tires, but that's 4 tires you got to let the air out of. And can't say for sure if that would have worked. And then I got to try and get them aired back up again. But I ended up calling the place that we rented the U-Haul from, and they came out with a mid-sized wrecker truck, and they didn't come back here. They ran a cable from the driveway, the road up in front of my house, and made a snatch block on one of my trees, and we were able to get the darn truck out. And they said they had to charge me for that because I didn't buy the insurance. Well, when they told me about the insurance, they said, "Well, do you want insurance for this other than what your automobile policy would cause or cover?" I'm like, no, I've driven box trucks. I own box trucks. I'm not going to run into a low-hanging bridge. I know better than that. And I'm not going to drink and drive. I'm not going to fall asleep at the wheel. And if somebody else hits me, it's their responsibility. And if I just dent the door, my insurance that I have would cover it. But they said if you had the insurance, it would have covered pulling it out. I said, you never mentioned when I was renting the vehicle that if you ever get stuck, that insurance will pay for pulling it out. Because I would have said, well, wait a minute, we're going to be driving into the backyard, which is kind of sandy. I would have opted to buy that insurance. So, well, it's not the end of the world. It wasn't my stuff, but we loaded into the shed we have around back. I think we were able to sell a couple pieces off. It was actually my wife's daughter. She did some staging of some homes to make them look more attractive for sale, and the stuff was in lockers, and it was just eating away, paying for the rental for the lockers. So, and I think a couple of the pieces we actually put in our house. So, all in all, it wasn't a disaster. But you always want things to run smooth, But there's always the unforeseen. Yeah, I can hear some dogs yipping. I can hear what's, I guess, some highway traffic. Route 19, it's called, is not that far from me, maybe 2 miles, but that noise has to come up over the hill and through all the trees. So it's not very loud. Actually, I hear more noise, from kids running on quads and dirt bikes, but they're not consistently doing it. I was told that somebody was running a quad around my acre over there I know I had told the neighbor, you know, trying to be neighborly, that I think he got quads maybe a month or so before we left. And he asked about riding his quads over there. I said, yeah, just you and your daughter. Don't start inviting your relatives and friends or anything like that. So the neighbor across the street while we were away said, hey, there's somebody running quads on your property over there. Well, he doesn't get out much, so I suspect it was my neighbor, but he wasn't able to go out and actually identify them. I guess he wasn't paying attention enough, or he would have seen them pulling out of their driveway and driving over to my lot if it had been them. But it's possible it wasn't them. But I don't know why anybody else would be back here, because I basically live on a dead end, and the dead end ends on my acre of property. There is a right-of-way if because we bought the 2 half acres, so now it's an acre. But if somebody bought 1 half acre and somebody bought the other half acre, there would have been right-of-way, at least partially, into them. All right, well, I'm going to say good night. Thanks for listening to me. You all have a good night's sleep. See you in the next video. Bye.